going to the file, picking the main categories for the FAQ. So as you can see here, I have multiple categories, which are let's say the main subject that the FAQ will be. On all of these, on each category, I can either delete, I can move it up or down, or I can edit and maybe say, add something to change the name, or I can add even a new category. So once I have the category, it's waiting for me to create a draft questions. So we will have categories, then we will have the questions, and everything is taken from the file. And you see, for retirement plan, I have a question: how does the 401 retirement plan work? And on this level also, I could move it, move the order to delete. I could actually edit the question, and I can even move it to a different category. So if it's now in retirement plan, I can move it to paid time off, and you see it moved it. Okay, so we have the category in questions, but let's add the answers. So we click here on the draft answers, and you will see that in a couple of seconds, it created a full FAQ, including categories, questions, and answers. Now, you could go actually to a Word document or something and just say create a FAQ, and then you would copy and paste it. But here it's integrated within the page. It's using the AI, and once it's done, yeah, we're almost there. Um, I could, okay, he asked me if to keep it, let's keep it. Now you notice that this is using like a chevron icon. I can switch it to a plus or minus. So it depends what my how I like it to look. I can change it between the items, the icons, and we actually finished. So I can now go and go to one paragraph. And if I want to rephrase it, I can also use this Copilot, and I could write a prompt and say, oh, say I want it more shorter, longer, professional, or just to rewrite it. I can even reference a file. So you see here actually, now the nice thing is actually to create FAQ, you need a Copilot license, but to view it, you don't need it. So the authors would have a Copilot license. They would create it, but once it's done, then any user can view it, and you don't need the license. Um, One last thing here, you remember we didn't mention this part. So what I want to do is this time I want to add here, make only three categories. Uh, there you go. Okay. I will recreate the FAQ, and instead of creating, let's say, 7 categories, it will hopefully create only three. And so you can give here instructions, what you want. Um, and you can define anything you want, and this will actually, and here we can discontinue. I can maybe specify specific topics that I wanted to include or not, and it's very flexible. And all I need to do is, once it's ready, just to publish the page, and we're set. I always recommend using, when using AI, always to review the information, to compare it to the source, and not to rely on it as if it's yeah, perfect. Currently, it's in targeted release. It's also, and eventually, I believe it will be also in, yeah, GA. Here, I only need to give a name. I could add an image here and just publish it, and the page is ready. Um, yeah, so this is actually, ooh, this is interesting. I published it, but I did not get any. Uh, Probably it's a bug. Let's see if it's. Oops. So we see in editing mode it's here, but when we publish it, it's not that here. So that's interesting feedback to give to the product team. Um, okay, so I'm done with my demonstration. Uh, what do you think about it?
Very good, Amy. It's really, it's like your co-pilot, your buddy next to you, really, isn't it? To save you doing all that writing, and you can create that page there within 10 minutes. Like, whereas if you had to do it previously before, it'd probably take you a few hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, there's a now a standard way of creating a page with a AI, where you give a prompt, either a news page or just a regular page. In this case, it's something more specific because it's building the structure. You have, the category, the question and answer, so it's um, more complex. Well, not complex, but it's more detailed. And but thank you for the feedback. I mean, yeah.
Anybody, any
Hi,
questions?
Dan.
Hey,
Hey,
hello
Dan,
everybody. Hey, Frank. Abimbola, congratulations on your MVP.
you're on mute.
Ah, congratulations, Abimbola.
Thank you. I appreciate. Thank you. Yeah.
And Ami, great demo.
Thank you, thank you. Um, I nice. I could just give you in 2 words. I found that there's a new feature that you can compress PDF to 3 levels. So if a PDF would take, I don't know, 10 mega. So now if you go in, you can choose if you want to compress to 25%, 50, or 75, and it now does it. It harms the quality, but it also compresses. So that's a cool feature also I just found today.
That's
Okay,
great.
Hello, Joseph.
so Joseph has given us a message. He sees our newest MVP. Yeah, great. It's great to see that Microsoft are kind of giving more women MVPs. Um, I think it was only up to last year, it was only 20% of all MVPs were women. And I think they are definitely working on it to make it a more equal space. Um, that's great. Stephen,
I want to share. Yeah, I just want to share, Frank. Today I completed nominating a new person. I will not reveal uh, who he is, but it was a great feeling to, yeah, to discuss before I nominated him and to see if he's
yeah,
how good involved. And it's like paying it forward when you were nominated, and now you give it to some. You have the power to give it to somebody else because you believe he's doing a good job. So it's just I
yeah. So
I'm happy I have the possibility to do that. And
yeah, So I've nominated a few people there recently, and what I'm kind of doing is actually I have a kind of a Word document that I send on to them, and it's got kind of all the kind of stuff like that they could do towards contributions. I'd also do a call with them and kind of show them different stuff, and just make out an Excel sheet with all the different contributions, and and they can get back to me anytime they want if they need any help. So yeah. So there you
Great,
are,
Frank.
Abimbola. Another congratulations coming in there for you from Frederick. Okay. So Dan, have you anything for us? We didn't see you for a while.
Yeah, last week we were in North Carolina, I think, and I introduced you to a new student ambassador that we are in the process of nominating. The student ambassador program is a little different than the MVP, where instead of looking backwards on the last 12 months of activities, it's really more focused on forward activities. And so it's a little different than the MVP program in that it looks like you can self-nominate for student ambassadors, but you can also be referred by either another student ambassador, I believe, or MVP to the program. So we've identified a couple people that would be great student ambassadors, and I know Ayaka from the Chicagoland area is, I believe, in Japan already, and has done an interview with Frank, several of the MVPs, the student ambassadors that we met during our LinkedIn tour in Europe. So,
Okay, cool.
yeah, we're chatting with her on, I think it's in mid-February or mid-January, about yet another show that we're thinking about kicking off, and just getting kind of the cadence and the participants all aligned. Bill Coulterman, Ayaka, and myself started the Power of Copilot Hour, and mid-July we'll do our second session, and start figuring out some of the same things, like how often we're meeting, and how we bring guests onto the show, and what we do with that hour. With three of us, we carved it into kind of 15 to 20 minute slots each. But as these shows, continue to grow and evolve, it's always interesting to see if you stick with like a monthly show or if you go more often, and how you find your consistency like you have with the Azure and AI show.
Okay, cool then.
Yeah.
Be interesting. I'll come join you there someday.
Yeah. We'll definitely figure out the process. And I believe, I'm trying to remember, I think we used Restream for our first show. So we've got this produced with StreamYard. We have Journey to the Cloud produced with Teams typically. And then we have the Power of Copilot Hour that's going to be produced with Restream. So we've got three different online programs. And Joseph and Abimbola, I believe you both used Restream some as well too, didn't you? I think the same thing you're doing, Frank, where you're sharing the resources. I believe we've done with Restream as well, where we've got some people producing content there. And if anybody else in the community is interested in information, like Frank said, he's got kind of a mentorship program going. We have access to some of these tools that allow us to stream shows. So if you have interest in, getting involved in this, Teresa Cyrus did a great job of giving us a step-by-step on how to connect teams over to either Restream or to LinkedIn or a particular streaming platform like YouTube or Facebook or LinkedIn. I think those are all great things that we should be sure to showcase occasionally here.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I kind of done a bit more on Sessionize there. Sent out another thing this week to see if there was any other people interested.
Cool.
But it's a bit kind of complicated, that Sessionize thing. Is not the most friendly platform.
Yeah. Do they still require you to do like is it 6 months or 3 months? Kind of like how often the show is going on? I know that was one of the challenges I had when I first signed up for it, was you had to tell it like when the event was, or when I think it was the amount of time that the, ongoing show or event would be happening. Is that still the case? Do you recall?
No, each time I 2 times previously, I kind of had to tell it that I was doing a community event, and I gave them the link to this show, say it's on every week and it's free for people to come and join and speak and wherever, and they allowed me to use the platform free then.
Yeah, I'm going to put a link to Sessionize in the comments here on LinkedIn, because that's a really good point, Frank. One of the things that you get credit for when you fill out either your student ambassador nomination and you become a student ambassador, you get credit for doing events. And then with the MVP nomination, you're looking back on what you've done for the last 12 months. So if you use Sessionize, if you set up a account on Sessionize as a speaker, you may find opportunities to be either a keynote speaker or presenter at a online or an in-person event. And then you can also search for those online or in-person events as well with Sessionize. There's other platforms similar to Sessionize. And I know some of the community days that I've been involved with use either run events or these other online, similar to like Restream versus StreamYard, right? They kind of do the same thing or accomplish the same goal, but there's more than one choice. So that's great that you've been using that for quite a while now.
Yeah, I tried to use the events on, the community.org website.
Right.
It's a bit not user-friendly as well, trying to add your events to it. So
yeah, I'd say each place that you have to figure out how to do has those unique, things where some of them you have to get approval. And I know on Tech Community, techcommunity.microsoft.com, there was a way to list yourself as a presenter, and then you had to get approval for that. But then you can only find the people that are approved speakers. So I know I was listed at one point as a approved speaker, but several other people that are involved in, the various communities weren't. So it becomes that, do you want to list an event like this with, 5 different speakers or participants and only have like maybe a handful of them listed because they're not on Tech Community as a speaker, and you can only tag the speakers. LinkedIn, the nice thing is anybody that you're connected with, you can list as a speaker. So I believe you have to connect with them first, not just follow each other. But the nice thing is you don't have to have some other kind of approval or mechanism to invite them on a show.
Dan,
Yeah.
you were mentioning, you opened a group regarding some kind of a YouTube channel and some permissions.
Yeah, so Ayaka discovered.
Okay, what's the YouTube?
So the YouTube channel that was set up a while ago from one of my accounts is, I believe, let me just double check before I tell you incorrectly. I believe it's just Microsoft Speakers Hub on YouTube. And
Okay.
yes, it is. And what Ayaka had suggested was for one of the shows that we use a YouTube channel. And, I told her, hey, I already set one up for the Microsoft Speakers Hub, but I am not an expert at anything YouTube at this point, but I knew Ami, yourself, and several others of us. You know, Frank, I know you have a YouTube channel. Teresa has a YouTube channel. It seems like many of us have individual YouTube channels. What I was originally going to do with the Microsoft Speakers Hub YouTube channel was just showcase other people's channels so that we could build almost a directory of people involved with Microsoft. But it is a YouTube channel, so theoretically we could use the channel as a opportunity to produce shows there as well. And then right now we don't have that many subscribers, and again, it seems like YouTube, Ayaka found, and I think I put in the chat message, the step-by-step guidance on setting up multiple permissions to a YouTube channel. And that way, instead of each of us having to kind of go about it on our own, we also have this place either to showcase, similar to what we're doing in some of those message groups, right? Hey, I produced another video. Can you like it, or, comment on it or whatever. This would be maybe a centralized place to, bring attention to those kind of things. And again, I'm not familiar enough with YouTube to talk about whether it's a great idea or, just yet another place that we have to, set up or maintain or post about videos. But if any of you that are more experienced with YouTube have suggestions, I think all I need is email addresses, and then we decide what permissions we provide. And I think they're much more granular permissions than LinkedIn. With the LinkedIn permissions, it's either super admin or content admin, and those are your two choices.
Yeah, I'd say Ami is our expert. He's got over 1 million hits.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean anything.
No, of course it does.
The viewers don't care. It doesn't. Yeah, but
it means you figured out. You figured out more than many of us, and that's what I was thinking was there's places, Frank, to your point, like you figured out how to do the Excel file and the mentorship and the Sessionize piece. I did Sessionize for a little while, but have really fallen off the Sessionize focus to either get additional speaking gigs or do things.
Yeah. Okay, so then we have Stephen is going to present some stuff for us there. So
excellent.
If anybody have any questions on what Dan was talking about there with the YouTube channel or wherever, you can pop it into the chat, and we would be grateful for any advice going forward.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Frank. Yeah, good evening, everyone. So I just want to present something, just a few seconds. So I'm just going to share my screen now.
Sure.
1 second. Okay. I believe you can see my screen, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah, you can see your admin center, yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, so actually I just want to talk about deploying conditional access policy using the zero trust model, which we all know that when you want to deploy your conditional access policy, you go through the Entra ID. But this time around, I'm going to do it in the Microsoft 365 environment, and then finish it up in the Microsoft Entra ID environment. So when you come to your environment, when you come to the Microsoft 365 environment here, so if I come here, I'll just come up here and then locate my setup. Click on this setup here. Now, once you click on this setup, from this setup, you see this called Advanced Deployment Guides Assistant. So this is like a guide and assistant that enables you to set up your, when you are talking about the zero trust model. That is, don't you don't trust anybody, so you have to, so it's setting up the such environment like that. So you can come up here, like a lot of guide here helps you in that regard, down to your defender environment and things like that. So if you click on this one here, when you click on that and then you come up here you now click on this all guide. So when you click on all these all guides, so here you can see you have a lot of things. You can see showing you the configuration scenario, adoption score, compliance, secure score. So there are a lot of things here. So I'll just click on this all guide and then come up here and then click on deploy conditional access policy. Deploy conditional access policy. I'll click on that. So when you click on that, so here is going to tell you what is conditional access policy. You know, uh, my is showing me completed here because I already have conditional access policy run in my tenant environment. So if you don't have, you might not see completed here. So here I will now click on get started. When you click on your get started, you come down here, it will tell you deploy conditional access policy templates. So you go down here. Under here, you can see you have conditional access on. Like I said earlier on, I have a conditional access policy that is running in my tenant environment. That's why you can see I have it on here. So if I go back to my, let me go back to my identity. So let me just show you. Uh, So if I come up here, protection, conditional access, so you can see policies. So these are all my policies. And I just have one on here, which is this one here. So that's why I'm having, that's why you can see it's saying that I have conditional access policy on here. So when you now do that, you now come down here. Here you now have template categories. Template categories. So from here, you now select. This is the zero trust recommended. You have the secure foundation. So there are a lot of things you can actually do. There's a template that guides you to set up things in your environment. But I just want to do the conditional access policy. So I'll come up here. I'll click on this zero trust recommended, and then I'll click on my next. So once you click on your next, now you can see zero trust. It says zero trust model is a comprehensive security strategy that favor a robust, never trust, always verify approach. So if you come up here, you can see here there are a lot of templates here that has been configured already. These are a lot of templates. So all I just need to do is to tick the ones I want, or if I want everything, I will select everything and then automatically it will appear here under where I have my conditional access policies. So if I come up here, oh sorry, if I go back here, so let's say if I click on this one now, you can see MFA, require MFA authentication for admins. You can see here is only on report. Everything will be on report only because it's not ideal to put it on. So you have to leave it on reports only. So, but you can turn it on if you want to, but like I said, it's not ideal. Always put it on report only, or you put it off, and then you can now go back and then review and then turn it on back. Now, any of these policy that you choose here, whoever is setting it up, that account will be excluded. So if it's an admin, so if you're an admin or if you have the conditional access policy permission, it's going to exclude that particular person's setup so you don't get locked out. Okay, so any of this one you choose, the person setting it up account will be excluded from this policy. So here, like I said, I can select everything if I want to. Let's say I already have this MFA. Okay, I think I don't have for admins. Okay, let me select for admins. Now, securing security information registration. If you click on that, you can see it's on report only. Let's say I want that one. Now, I have require multi-factor authentication for users. I already have that in my environment. If you want to, you can select that. Then if you come up here, require multi-factor authentication for guests. So let me just select this one. And then lastly, let me just select no persistent browser session. So I'm just going to select that. So these are the only ones I need from this multiple template we have. But if you want everything, there's nothing bad. You can select everything and everything will just be on report mode, and it will be in your policy. So you can go back there and then remodify it. If you want to add it to set of groups, you can now add it to set of group. But I'm just going to select the ones I just need here. So you now click on your next. You click on your next. Once you click on your next, it says choose multi-factor authentication method for your organization. You can see by default here, these two has been selected for me, which is the Microsoft Authenticator app and the FIDO 2 security keys, and which normally the multi-factor, the app is always recommended. But if you have a third party, you can actually choose any of these one. But you can see it has been categorized. This is high security, and if you come up here, this is like a medium security, and you can see we have the low security. You can see SMS. So SMS is the low security because there can be a man in the middle in such things. So most organizations don't set up the SMS or phone call. So that's why it's categorized as the low security stuff. And then here, I'll just click on my next. Once I click on my next, now you can see from here, you have zero trust settings. So require MFA authentication for admins. Yes. Status is on report only. You can see the other one I choose, securing security info registration. Yes. Status is report only. So these are just what I've selected from the zero trust settings. So you can edit it and you can go back to it if you want to. And then I'll now come up here and click on save configuration. Save configuration. Now, when you click on your save configuration, here is telling you that the trust model conditional access is turned on. That does not mean that it is turned on. That turned on means that the zero trust model has been enabled on your tenant. So which means that the zero trust model principle, your tenant is abiding by such principle. So here I can now come up and click on done. So once you click on done, there are other ones you can see. We have a lot here under this. I think I came across this just recently, and I think it's very, very handy. So for those who are thinking of setting up, there are a lot of things you can do. You can come up with all guides you select. So there are different things you can do. I just decide to just do the conditional access policy. So after doing that, I'll go back to my admin environment and then go to my identity, which is my Entra ID. I can have it open already here. So if I come up here, I will go to my protection, conditional access, and then click on my policies. Now you can see that all those templates I choose will be added to all the policy I already have in my tenant here. You can see. So what I now need to do, I now need to filter it so that I can now edit and then select, then start making some adjustments I need to do from here. So how can you do that? You just come to your filter here. You come to add filter. You come up here, filter, come up here, and here you now select state, because this is from the filter you have. You have policy name, you have created by, you have state, you have alert, and you have creation date, and so on. So I'll come up here, my filter, I'll come here and click on state, and then uncheck everything. I just want to see the report only, and now click on apply. Then it will show me all the policy that are just on reports only. So this is it. So anything I want to now do, now I can now come here and then edit and then turn it on for the users I want to. So if I click on this one, let's say no persistent browser session, I'll click on that. Once I click on that, so here I have the ability to edit my policy. So I can come up here, you can see here you have all user. By default, the template will select all users. And if I don't want to apply it to all users, I can simply come up here and then I will say select users, and I'll come up here, users and groups. Let's say I want to apply to just IT engineers, which I have. This is one of the groups I have on my tenant. So I'll just apply it here and I'll click on select. That applies to just this set of group of people and not all the users in my tenant. Then if you go to exclude, you can see that this is my, you can see I'm the one doing it. So which is the global administrator, you can see is excluded. So it means that that policy will not be applied to that particular person, so that you don't get locked out. So once I do that, if I'm okay with that, then I can come up here again where you have the condition. Remember that what I'm doing is no persistent browser section. So I can come up here, edit whatever I need to edit, and then once I've selected my users, I don't want to apply to all the users, then I can come up here, target resources. If I don't want to say all resources, maybe I just want to say some selected resources, I can come up here and click on selected resources. So that is the beauty of that template. Is already set there for you. Just go there, deploy it, then come up here, edit it, and then I can decide to say, okay, I want to turn on this policy. I can come up here, say enable. So once I say turn on, then it will now be affected on that particular users I have in this group that I select. Okay, so before you turn on any policy, please always make sure you understand what that policy is going to have, the effect is going to have on your users. So you don't turn on policy. It's always good to turn it on a set of specific people in the group and see how it works. Then before you can now enable it on all the users in the organization, so you don't break anything in your tenant environment. So once I click on save, so that policy is now updated, and now I've enabled it from there. And yeah, so refresh. So yeah, so I think that's all I have for today. So that's it for the conditional access. So you can see that I actually deployed this conditional access policies from my admin environment using a template. Also in conditional access policy here, there's also a template here, but the template is not that much. So if you come up here, if I click on conditional access, and then if I click on policies, here you can come up here, you can say new policy from template. Click on that. So you can see the ones you have here. You can see the zero trust. You can see all those ones. You can see it. So you can see, you can also do it from here. So you see, but it's better you just go there and then you see how it works. So these are the ones we have here, and you can also enable it the same way I did for that other one. So yep, that's all for now. Thank you very much.
Okay, great, great,
Yep.
Stephen. Anybody, any questions?
Question.
Just one from myself. Do you know when you had up all the policies on the actual thing, when you just picked one, the top one, can you pick all the policies that's on the list? Or
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Yes, yeah, you can pick all the policy from the list, and then it automatically once you finish, it automatically deploy here. You see all the policy here. When you go to your policies, then you can, like I just said, I filter it, you can see everything here, and then
yeah,
you can also make use of them when you need them. You can turn it on, edit it to your own to suit the company
yeah.
purpose.
So if you enable all of them, you make your company very secure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it depends on what you really want to do. So if you enable, like if you enable most of this your policy, so by the time you check your secure score, you'll see that it's actually going to increase. Why? Because you've already set up some set of the zero trust model policy stuff. So yeah, it's good. So
yeah,
it based on, depend on what you want, so you can make use of the policy. So anyone you don't want, you can just make sure just turn it off, or you just put it on reports only, so that it doesn't have any ripple effects on the users.
yeah. I just see the other part in that if you click low security, we say for sending SMS messages.
Yeah, so the low security from that, so that's the reason why when you go through this process here, it shows you it's like a guide telling you, so if you come to here, conditional access policy, get started. So if you come here, once you choose here my zero trust model category next, So here is going to, by the time you select any of these ones, let's say I select any of this stuff here, and then click on my next here. So here, from this place here now, it's telling you now it has categorized this security level, So here is a high security, which we all know. If you use your Microsoft Authenticator app, which is actually recommended, or use the FIDO 2 security keys, or you can use the certificate based. And this one you have to make sure you configure the certificate. And then here, if you use any of this one, this is a medium. So you can even combine high, medium, and that will help the security posture of your organization. But at times, we have users that say, why all this? Why not this? Well, at the same time, you don't look at what the user are going to say. You have to look after the security of your organization. So if you come up here low here, it means that if you just use XMS alone, it's not going to. So because the reason why Microsoft put this at a low security is because of this SMS. That's really like a man. There can be a man in the middle, where in such a way that you need to get a code, and the code doesn't come to you. It goes to another person, which is maybe like a man in the middle, and that's compromise your security stuff. Yeah.
I don't know, do they in the UK, do they block those SMS messages now from
I think they do. In my company, we don't allow that.
like in Ireland where I am now at the moment, they are setting up that companies that they have to register with the actual comreg sort of thing, or otherwise their companies are going to get blocked from sending SMS messages to the public. I think
Wow.
in America, Dan, you done that to GE a year or two ago.
Yeah, I haven't looked at the conditional access policies in a little while, but I believe in many cases, those low type securities are either certainly not recommended or unavailable in the wizards.
Yeah.
And Opeyemi, great demo. That's the other thing that I would say is some companies have been using things like this for a while, so there might be differences between setting up in the first place and going in and reviewing something that you've had set up for quite a while, whether that's labels for higher security and purview now, whether that's conditional access or even Azure Active Directory, the predecessor to Intra. Some people that have had that set up for several years may see different things, may see different defaults, may see different baselines because they've had it for a while, as opposed to the new baselines or the new recommendations if you're just setting it up as an organization. So that would be another thing that I'd kind of make sure people are aware of is, is this a new environment or is this an existing environment that you've had some of these technologies for a while now?
And is there an extra cost then by putting in all the policies? Would they be using more resources?
I don't believe there's additional cost for
No, I'm not sure
policies. Yeah.
No, there's no additional cost.
So you're actually you're already after paying for your
because once you have the P2, so if you want to have the P2 license, so you have access to all, so you can use everything. Yeah.
And somebody was asking, I think previously on somewhere where I was talking about this, if the P2 license is included with like the E3 or the E5 licensing. And I think that, there are charts that go through all that licensing complexity about where P2 is included. And I believe when I researched it, it was included with P2, but for a company that can't justify either E3 or E5 licenses for everybody, but really focuses on this identity and security piece, there's ways to license it kind of either as a bundle or a suite of services, or you can go into individual things, which might, keep your costs a little lower, especially if you're talking about thousands of users or maybe users that don't find the value of installing Office. If all I do for a company is, greet people as they come in, or I'm a seasonal worker or something else, it may not make sense for me to be able to install the entire Office suite, which is one of the benefits of an E3 license. But some of these security things may be of benefit, even though the entire E3 or E5 license suite isn't cost effective or doesn't make sense based on my type of employment, my type of work for a company.
So there's a lot of kind of talk around the Copilot license, where if you have a company and you're going to give out E5 licenses to everybody, it's a bit expensive. And as you say, Dan, everybody's not going to use Copilot Pro to do stuff. Just maybe basically give it to people who are going to be using the AI agents going forward.
Yeah. One thing that I think as MVPs in Microsoft 365 or Copilot that we've been, granted is some licenses to play around with Copilot, and that becomes something that they haven't necessarily done for Microsoft 365 customers, business customers. With Copilot Pro, you can kind of kick the tires, but that's on a personal Microsoft 365 tenant or license, I guess. And that 30-day trial doesn't necessarily let you use, company resources or corporate resources. So I believe it's still a year minimum for a license for Microsoft 365 Copilot or Copilot for Microsoft 365. And those licenses can be moved around. So if you had a company and you acquire 2 licenses and you give it to the CEO and the CFO, but then you realize there's other executives that could benefit from getting some experience and figuring out, do I need more than those 2 licenses? You could move the licenses. And the only downside to that is then the CEO and the CFO wouldn't have access to Copilot, especially if they've gotten used to some of the benefits. But you can either move the licenses to other people to gain additional experiences or use cases for Copilot, or you can license additional people. And I believe it's a year that you're committing to still.
Cool. Emmy, have you anything on those licenses?
Yeah. If my company would remove my Copilot license, I would I would say I cannot do the job. I mean, once you get used to it, especially mails and chat and all, it's a new way of working, and you can do things faster or focus on things that are more important. You can summarize fast, you can translate, you can do so many things, and I can't imagine, once you do it, you can't go back. I mean, even for myself, and I know other people, it can be for all tools of AI, I think. I know people in parallel would have let's say a Copilot, a GPT, ChatGPT, where they're paying a license and maybe they're paying other things. Obviously, the organization would not support that much if you use it, let's say, on documents. But even on my free time, sometimes I might try a different AI to see if it's better for other things. Um, but when working on corporate documentations, then I definitely would use. But yeah, the more you use it, I'm more dependent. I'm not dependent on it, but I enjoy. I think I can enjoy or can use the functionality that it gives. So
It's
yeah,
like anything
at
else.
one
I
point
can
we might be
live without my
dependent on it.
phone, but I don't want to live without my phone, right?
Yeah, I think even now, I think Barclays Bank, I think they've enabled Copilot to about like hundreds of thousands staff across the board. So I think companies are now embracing Copilot. My company, but I'm not sure. They just allow few people to use Copilot. Like, yeah, but not everyone. Yeah. Yeah, but I think the beauty part of Copilot is that, to be honest, it makes your work easier. Just like this, and there's always a disclaimer: never trust whatever Copilot gives to you. Always go through it, edit, and then edit your own taste and things like that. Don't just take everything and you feel, because I think what I noticed Copilot does is that what I noticed it does is that it takes from different resources from the internet, and then try to bring everything together in a split of seconds, and then summarize it in such a way that people see it, and then and such kind of thing is very good. Because if I go to Google now, it's okay. uh if I go to Google, I say, okay, what is Microsoft Teams? I'm going to be seeing different links of Microsoft Teams, definition of Microsoft Teams, but Copilot will take from everything and then just summarize everything for me in a fact, which is quite great for me. So it make my work easier than me going through those links one by one and start checking the definition and then summarizing in my own way. So yeah, so and like I used to say, people say, oh, AI is taking away our jobs and things like that. If AI is taking away your job, go and learn AI, go and learn about AI. So you can also take the job from AI. But I don't believe AI is taking the job, because AI, you need someone to also operate that AI. You need someone to also work on it. If I leave my computer on like this, I can't, if I'm not in front of my computer, I can't ask my computer to do my tasks for me if I'm not there. So I have to be there to operate it. So it means that AI, or AI is just a technology. You just don't know how to make use of it to make work easier for you, so that you can be productive in some other things. Maybe like like CEOs have meetings, a lot of things, schedules they have to attend. So if you have a CEO that has like an AI, so it makes it easy to summarize his meetings, summarize his emails in Outlook. So instead of going through, so just check, and maybe after the whole work day, he can actually go and then start checking the emails one by one. But before that time, you already have an idea of who sent him an email by telling Copilot to summarize the email of that particular day. So I don't think AI is really taking away anybody's job, to be honest. Yeah.
So there's during the week I seen an interesting thing there. Is like it's going to create more other different types of jobs for different people.
Mm-hmm.
So people
Yep.
will probably kind of move sideways into different jobs. Um, so
Mm-hmm.
the new job I seen was an AI supervisor for autonomous AIs.
Yeah.
So
It's
the
called
autonomous,
AI bots, according to Microsoft.
yeah, well, you'll see it towards the end of the year now. It's going to be called an AI supervisor. And what that actually
Okay.
does is when you have a group of agents, right? We say when we're talking about HR, I mean, they have all different kind of sections. Like they might have the IT section, they might have the onboarding section, and they might
Mm-hmm.
have some other section. So the autonomous part, like, will keep going around until somebody comes up with a question that the actual agent can't understand. So that it has to be flagged to an AI agent. And that AI agent then is like an
Yeah.
admin, steps in and looks at it and tells it, okay, it's okay to give it that answer. Go ahead.
I saw a video that somebody wanted to make an agent, and instead of asking how do I write a prompt, it asks the AI what am I missing. So so instead of asking for information, you're saying review what I have and tell me what I'm missing. And
Okay.
so to go the other way, and sometimes it might give you something correct, but it might give you yeah.
Something wrong? Yeah. So, guys, we're over the hour. So, just like to congratulations Abimbola again on the new
Yeah,
win.
Congratulations.
And
And also, I think
Fred as
Fred
well.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fred as well. Yeah,
Congratulations.
yeah. I
okay.
think I did my MCT program with Fred, so I think they're
Yes.
really great. Yeah, so I'm just
Opeyemi,
waiting
I
for
think we
my
saw your news
onboarding.
too, right?
Yeah, so my onboarding should be on the 27th of this month. So yeah,
Congrats.
uh,
The MCT is definitely an
Congratulations.
achievement, but
yeah, thank you.
it's quite a feat to get through
Mm,
that achievement, right?
yeah,
Yeah, congrats. That's great.
How many certificates did you need to get an MCP?
I think you just need either the associate or the expert one. So any of
Yeah.
the associate
You just need
expert.
one of the
Yeah.
Yeah,
advanced, I'll call it,
just
or
one.
functional.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So like I
yeah,
had
once you
Teams
have that, and
administrator.
then
Yeah.
yeah, that's just need that. And then some couple of then you have to do like a video, and then the assessment. You do an assessment, you do oral exam and things like that.
Or if you're working for a company as well, you can get actually a manager to write a letter for you to get over that stage. Once you have an associate or
Or
an
a
expert.
customer, can't it be?
Yeah.
Yeah, MCT. Yeah. So, guys, we'll be back here again next week. Anybody wants to do a session for
Okay.
us, let us know, and we'll be happy to make space for you.
Excellent, Frank.
Okay. Thank you.